Um, so that sucked. Um, Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Finned Up. I am your host, Brian. The game just ended against the Buffalo Bills, where the Miami Dolphins lost 48-20. Absolutely got shellacked. Absolutely got wrecked. Just defensively, one of the most pitiful performances I've seen them play in quite some time. I mean, honestly, the the 2020 game against the Bills, 2020 or 2021, whenever they were trying to make a playoff push and the Bills shellacked, I'm pretty sure it was 2020. That that was right up there with that performance. Offensively, I think things were fine. I don't like credit to the Bills. Um, like Sean McDermott is a very, very good defensive minded coach. The Bills defense has tons of talent. I hate Matt Milano. I think he's a dirty player, but he's very, very good. And they did a really good job of knocking Tua, like covering Tua's first read or disguising it and not allowing Tua to do the thing where he immediately makes the throw. And despite that, I think Tua played reasonably well. It wasn't his best game in the world. I don't put that interception on him. I put that interception more on Robbie Chosen and the sacks on fourth down. Similarly, like I said, the sacks on fourth down where his first read wasn't there, and then the Dolphins' offense line crumbled, and he took some sacks. So that was rough. And like this was kind of the first time he got hit this season. So hats off to the Bills defense first and foremost. They played a really great game. Sean McDermott called a really great game, and they held the Dolphins offense in check. The fumble sucked. The two fourth down non conversions sucked. The interception sucked. So those are four possessions right there that the Dolphins could have points, but they lost. And like whatever, they still scored 20 points. I'm not overly concerned about the Dolphins' offensive performance. Once again, the Bills' defense, hats off. They played phenomenal. It's tough to go into Orchard Park and play and put up points. They put up 20 points. They faltered in the second half, and I think the offense faltering in the second half a little bit was them feeling like they needed to score on every drive and had a lot of pressure, and they knew that like Buffalo was unstoppable on offense, and so I think that's a lot of what happened offensively. Tyreek Hill still looks fast. He scared the hell out of all of us when he went down and was grabbing his knee. So thankful that he came back in. Get Liam Eichenberg off my team because he wiped out Jalen Waddle's touchdown, which would have they weren't going to win the game, but it would have been like more respectable. They would have had 28 points because what are you doing? Like it wasn't a run pass option. It wasn't like a run play that was called. Why are you 7 yards downfield as a center? Like it made zero sense whatsoever. Taking away Jalen Waddle's touchdown, taking away Tua's touchdown, whatever. So those are my thoughts offensively. It's week 4. I think they're gonna figure out what the Bills did and figure out ways to counteract it. I believe in Mike McDaniel. Also, another big thing offensively, which we haven't seen all season, a lot of penalties, a lot of penalties, and that I think that's partially attributed to being on the road, playing in an environment like Orchard Park. So is what it is. I believe in Mike McDaniel on that side of the ball to figure things out, improve, take what the defense gives you, and learn from it and do better next time. That offensively, once again, not at all concerned. Defensively, what are we doing? Christian Wilkins, you have this hold in, you want more money, you think you deserve to get paid. Show up. Where were you the entire game? Hey, wait, actually, before I start ripping defensive players, Andrew Van Ginkel, great game, dude. You keep showing up game in, game out. Great Dolphin. Glad you're on the team. 2 sacks, played phenomenally. Um, really job well done. So before I start ripping into people, I want to just give Andrew Van Ginkel his flowers because he deserves it. All right, once again, back to Christian Wilkins. What are you doing? You were getting moved off the ball. You were getting pushed around. You were getting bullied. What you sit there and you hold in and you say you want a ton of money, and this is the performance you put up against a division rival and one of the best. Like the Bills are a top 3 team. The Bills are a Super Bowl contender. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to say anything differently. When they're clicking on both sides of the ball, which they were today, they wanted it way more than the Dolphins wanted, and they showed up. And when they're clicking, they're a really good football team. And you had to expect division game at home. They're 2-1. If they lose this, they go to 2-2. Dolphins are going to 4-4, have a 4-0, have a big lead in division. You had to know they were showing up, and boy, did they put a hurting on Christian Wilkins. He bullied him around. He was getting pushed, and not getting any penetration. So that was really sad to watch. Zach Sealer, I think he played decently. He didn't play great. He had some good plays. He had some good splash. The thing about the defense is they have some tackles for loss. They have some good splash plays, but then they get absolutely toasted and roasted the other 80% of the game. It's like, I think Vic Fangio said over the course of the week, great plays every once in a while are fine, but you have to have good plays the rest of the time. And I think that's a pretty big problem when it comes to the Dolphins' defense. Is like there's a lot of talent. They can make great plays, but they have to make good plays the rest of the time. And Jalen Phillips being out, I think that's another big deal. He usually plays pretty big against the Bills, and once again, they had some good plays. There were some sacks. Whoever thought it was a good idea to continually have Cater Kohu in one-on-one man coverage with Stephon Diggs, I don't know whose call that was. I don't think they should get fired, but they should definitely be sat down and have a serious talking to, because Cater Kohu was getting absolutely toasted by Stephon Diggs. And I like Cater Kohu. I think he's a really good player. I think he has a great future in the league. But man, it's pretty evident why Stephon Diggs is where he is and considered one of the best wide receivers in the league, and why Cater Kohu is a second-year player who is still learning. I think he's going to get better. I think he's going to have a lot of talent. I would love for Jalen Ramsey to come back and be the guy that's covering Stephon Diggs. I think he's going to make a huge difference when he comes back. Oh, God, that was hard to watch. I mean, the Bills could just do whatever they want. They could run the ball. They could throw the ball. Josh Allen was running around doing Josh Allen things and making hero plays. So that was defensively. And I think it trickled onto the offense where, the fumbles weren't good. The turnovers on downs weren't good. The interception, Robbie chose an Anderson, get him off my team. I want River Craycraft back. I want him back so bad, which I know he's on IR, but still. So those are kind of my thoughts offensively, defensively. As far as the broadcast goes, it's just clear that for some reason Tony Romo is I think Tony Romo is actually best friends with Josh Allen in real life, because that to me is the only explanation for the ball gargling that I have to hear all the time. It's just every time he talks about Josh Allen. Literally, Josh Allen got sacked, and Tony Romo goes, "That's just a really great play from Josh Allen." He took a sack. Just because he didn't try to make a hero play and throw an interception means that it's a great play. Like, no, like the defense won that play. That's not a winning play from Josh Allen. It went from being a possible touchdown on third down to them having to kick a field goal and settle for 3. That's not a winning play for Josh Allen. Shut up, Tony Romo. I hate you. You're the worst. I never want you calling the Dolphins-Bills game ever again. I can't sit there and listen for 3 hours to like this guy talk up the Bills and how much he loves them and how much he loves Josh Allen the entire time. Well, like, he did say good things about Tua. He said nice things about Tua. That's fine. But man, that was frustrating to listen to. But yeah, I think overall, I think the team's going to be fine long term. Not having Connor Williams hurt, the offensive line was noticeably less good with Liam Eichenberg in there than Connor Williams. Like it was very noticeable that they could not run the ball as nearly as effectively as they had in the first 3 weeks, and I think that is a big part in due to Connor Williams not being there. What else? Some bright spots. Devon Achane, my bad. Still looking great. Still playing really well. Tyreek Hill is still Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle is still Jalen Waddle. Would have loved to see them get the ball a little bit more, but I think, once again, I think the Bills just played a really good game. I cannot give more credit to the Bills defense for how well they played. Like, the Bills team as a whole. I think their offense also played really well, but like the Bills defense and the Dolphins offense, like, it was back and forth. They were trading blows. Like, it was a fun, competitive thing to watch. Sometimes the Dolphins would win, sometimes the Bills would win, and like, it was really, really good football. I cannot say the same thing about the Bills offense and the Dolphins defense. So, hats off to the Bills defense, hats off to the Bills offense, hats off to the Bills in general. You guys earned it. I think my biggest complaint is they scored too many points last week against Denver. Like, maybe you could have just taken 30 of those points and brought them over to this week instead of, using them last week against the Broncos and winning by 50. Because if you won last week 40-20 and you brought 30 of those points over, we would have won 50-48. I'm just saying. Maybe save some points for next week. Maybe don't use them all in 1 week. Points are a finite resource. We need to hold on to them as best we can. So yeah, those are kind of my overall thoughts for the game. I'm not worried. I think I don't see the team like falling apart. I still think the team's really good. I think they're a top 5 contending team in the NFL. I think this is good as far as like humbling them. I'm sure, once a team scores 70 points, they're probably feeling themselves. They're probably feeling like they could do anything they want and like maybe got a little ahead of themselves. So I think, as Dan Kim would say, some humble pie is good for them. I think, Mike McDaniel's going to look at what the Bills defense did and figure out ways to counter it and counter punch. So I think there's a lot of good learning opportunity. And then defensively, just wake up. Just do something. Cater, wake up. Christian Wilkins, wake up. Bradley Chubb, wake up. Javon Holland, honestly, you played a pretty good game. Just maybe don't try to tackle tight ends high because you got run over by Dawson Knox, and that was a tough look for everybody to see. You got absolutely smoked and pushed to the ground. But other than that, I think Javon had a great game. He was the only one on the defense side of the ball. Linebackers couldn't cover, couldn't tackle. Cornerbacks couldn't cover, couldn't tackle. Defensive line were getting pushed around, couldn't get any penetration. So defensively, wake up. That's just number one biggest thing I have to say to you. And then as far as the rest of the season goes, like I said, they're 3-1, tied for. Actually, they're probably behind the Bills now for first in division because the Bills have the head-to-head win. They're second in the division. They're still one of the best teams in the NFL, in my opinion. It's hard to keep an offense like that down. And if they can just get the defensive side of the ball figured out, I think things are going to be fine long term. The goal for this season is 10-plus wins, and make the playoffs and get a playoff win. If the Dolphins accomplish that this season, I will be happy. If they make a run, make a push for the Super Bowl, that's just icing on the cake. And they're still totally in line to make the playoffs to get a playoff win. So, got the Giants next week. The Giants are not nearly as good of a football team as the Bills. It's going to be at home in Miami. And then we got the Panthers, who are also a bad team after that. So it's very, very realistic that after this absolute butt blasting of a loss that we had to witness, the Dolphins can very easily be 6-1 and be in a power position to, have a good rest of the season. So I don't think the season's won or lost in week 4. This sucked. I'm outraged and sad. I live in Cleveland, so I have a lot of Browns fans as friends. My family, they're all Browns fans. They hate the fact that I'm a Dolphins fan. And it was funny. I was texting them, and I was just like, if we could just take the Browns defense and the Dolphins offense and put them on the same team, unstoppable. Super Bowl contender, winning team. And they totally agreed because the Browns offense looked like Dookie today. So, yeah, man, I'm just sad. I'm just a sad boy, but it's okay. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it together as Fins fans, and on to next week versus the Giants. Thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you to all the people who are here. Surprisingly, my first video, the Dolphins preview, I'm not out here rolling in thousands or millions of views or anything, but it did perform better than I thought it would do. So to the people who are watching, to the people who, are supporting me in this little content creation journey that I'm taking through the Dolphins, I really appreciate it. So you guys will get this one as soon as I'm done recording and editing and putting it up on YouTube. So yeah, thanks again. I love you all. Bye.